Alright, we're back down at the basement. A few things have changed. The workshop is somewhat more organized. Still all kinds of stuff everywhere. But in the training room, things have changed. Bam! All the shelves are gone. As you can see, all the walls are painted. Put in a drop ceiling, light fixtures. All the drywall is done. Everything above the ceiling. Filled in all the gaps. Spray foamed it. Sealed it. Hopefully no dust gets in. The only thing that I have left to dust proof this room is to put a saddle and sweep on the door. The blue tape represents the edge of the benchwork. So this is everywhere that you're going to be walking in. Walk in into here. This is where the large sawmill scene is going to be. Small town. This is the riverfront scene or waterfront scene of some sort. Small town there. Not really tracks back there because it's fairly deep. I'm just going to have scenery. An access panel back there just to access any kind of scenery. There's one track that loops in the back for the reversing loop coming out, going around the rest of the layout. I have the shipyard scene here, small waterfront, some sidings and stuff, but they're all going to be right in the front, easily reached, using ground throws. That's what you see in this picture here. I'm describing right in here. Right now I'm standing right about here. Got that small town, there's the sawmill, a small dual gauge interchange in this section, small roundhouse and engine shed, a couple storage tracks, siding for a station or a freight transfer. There's the old plans that you saw before, prior. All the walls are painted. Dry lock basically was my primer. And I put a 2-part epoxy on top of that. Real good. Turned out great. In here, same thing. Drywall as a primer. Dry lock as a primer, I'm sorry. The UGL dry lock. And then 2-part epoxy on all the surfaces. 2-part epoxy gray on the floor. Also out here, 2-part epoxy gray on the floor here. Everything's sealed up, even the corners. Spray foamed all that in between the drywall. I don't care if it's a little sloppy, you're never going to see that. It's going to be behind backdrops and all kinds of scenery. It's getting there. Just have to get to the lumberyard or Home Depot and buy some 1/2-inch plywood. I'm going to start ripping up some strips so I can start building my L girders. I took a 2x4 here, ripped it down to make 2x2s for the legs. I'll have plywood L girders for the main supports. I'll get 2 running this way, 2 running along the back, 2 running across this way. It'll split the wall here and run this way, and then I'll have 2 coming out this peninsula this direction. That should offer plenty of support. I'm not going to put anything underneath the cantilever where the sawmill is, because under there I think I'm going to put a display case. I think that'll look great when you first walk in to see a display case under that sawmill, underneath where the control panels are or the fascia might be. The rest I'm going to try and leave open as much as possible so you can access any kind of wiring. We're not going to really store much under there, hopefully. See if I stick to my word over the years. Up top, I'm debating on what kind of system I want to use to hold the second level. I've been looking at possible bookshelf, the standards with the metal brackets that come out. I have real heavy duty brackets that I got from work that they no longer use, but they're a little bit long. Or I've seen some plywood systems where they have like a 2x2 or a 1x2 strap on the wall, and they cantilever out these plywood gussets that they've made and use it that way. Actually similar to something I used in this shop. Let me show you that. To hold all the wood out here. Let's turn on some lights here. As you can see, there's lots of wood on these walls here. These gusset systems here that I've built, you can see up here, that's a 2x3 on the wall, and I cut some 1/2-inch plywood and sandwiched a 2x3 in between. Looks like a gusset type, and they're very strong. I mean, that's the same system I have down below, and there's lots of wood on top of that. I mean, a layout with scenery and everything is nowhere near going to be that size or that weight, and these things are not budging. I don't know if I'll use 2x3s. Maybe I'll use 1x stuff to make it not so beefy, but we'll see how it goes. Any suggestions, get back to me. And there's a lot of wood on there, and I mean, I don't care if I built my scenery out of granite, I don't think it's going to budge. The other bracket system that I'm looking at actually is in this room right now. It's our utility furnace room, but here's the brackets. Let me bring them to the better light. Okay, as you can see, these, I think they run 20-inch by 22-inch, I think it is. Maybe 22 by 24, I can measure that. But they can go either direction on the wall. They offer a nice curve, so I can actually curve a backdrop up that if I wanted to. They're extremely strong. They're meant for desk shelves, actually. But I might be able to use that as the second level supports, main supports. I have 6. I could use these as the main supports and subsidize some of the intermediary supports in between with some wood gusset possibly. I could put these right onto the concrete wall, so let me know what you think about that as possibilities. Looks like a stealth fighter or bomber, actually. Pretty cool. That's what I got going on so far. So the layout room, the train room is done. I don't care about the backdrop, plywood, or drywall. I'm not going to be painting that. There's going to be backdrops and stuff on that thing. So I just sanded it smooth. Looks good, basically to seal it. But the floor turned out great, walls turned out great. I don't see any leaking anywhere, any water seepage in this alcove. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Alright, see you guys later.